my sibling and I used to get up at 5:30 every morning to do a paper route, not for the money, not because it was a job, but because of what it did for us and the service we were offering somebody in our community. So, sometimes people ask me, why did you do it? What was it teaching you? And what did you learn from that experience of paper route? And for me, it was more about one, getting up earlier before anybody else is getting up. It's crazy how much more you can accomplish when you have a focused 1 or 2 hours when there's no distractions. The whole house is quiet. In our case, we were out on the street, but everything was quiet and we were able to really focus on getting a job done. We had clear parameters. We had to wake up. We had to get the paper. We had to find the paper. We had to roll it up and then go deliver it to all the different households. So there was clear cut objectives. There was a time frame that everything needed to be done by. And oftentimes we'd come back and we'd go to sleep before, everybody else. But we had already gotten up and accomplished so much in that day that it really just brought a lot of peace and happiness into our lives and of that sense of accomplishment. So I'm curious, like for you, what is that sense of accomplishment for you? Where did you learn the value of hard work? If this is something that you'd like to learn more about, I'd say subscribe because we're going to be talking a lot about where does our early money beliefs come in? Because a lot of times when you think about money, you think, oh, what do I have to do for money? And a lot of times money's not what you have to do for it. It actually is who do you have to become to receive it? Who do you have to become to feel comfortable with it? And for me, that starts with becoming a person of service first. There's an old quote by Zig Ziglar that says, the more you focus on helping other people get what they want, the more you're going to be able to get what you want. And I found that that was absolutely true. And I started learning that at a young age. I'm so grateful for my parents who were able to teach me and give me the opportunities. Not everybody's going to let their 12, 13, 14-year-old child run out in the middle of the night and be throwing papers around. But I think they should, they could, and it would be so life-changing. I think about that often for myself. I've got 4 children now, and my oldest is 9, my youngest is a baby, and I think, what are those experiences that I can give my son and my daughters so that they can learn the values of hard work? Even though society's changed and what that looks like different, there's not really paper routes anymore. So what's the equivalent of a paper route in your life? For me, I found different things. So food drives. Everybody can do a food drive. It doesn't have to be organized. Nobody has to give you permission. You can go out and do a food drive. So I've done that with my children. We've created little flyers. We went and put them on every door in the neighborhood. We went and told them, hey, this is when we're going to pick up. We picked it up. We brought it to the food bank. Because it's not about earning money right now. It's about learning the value that you could add. What value do you have inside of yourself? And once you can identify the value inside of your soul, it's a lot easier to share that value with the world. So those are some of the things that I learned specifically from that experience. And I'm just curious about you. I think the way that you think about money started a lot sooner in your childhood than you actually think. And that's the type of things that we're going to be digging into. What are the value systems that you're basing whether or not what you're doing is worth money or not? And again, I'm going to reiterate this. The sooner you can get past thinking that you need to make money from an act of service, the sooner it stops becoming a request and always just wheel and deal, zero-sum game. And the sooner you just start having fun, enjoy it, and really grow a ton, and you build more meaningful relationships along the way. And those meaningful relationships turn into something beautiful. Brad Lee, he talks about this a lot. He says, the more hands you shake, the more money you make. And it's just such a good principle of stop thinking about the outcome. Start thinking about the input. What are you willing to put into a scenario to get a desired outcome? When you think about business partnerships, when you think about life partnerships, when you think about children partnerships, when you think about this, what are you willing to do to make it work? And here's just one last thing that I'll say. I started neuropsychology in my professional degree. And what I found in that process was how we point our minds to things absolutely changes the outcome of said thing. And in marriage therapy classes, oftentimes I'll talk about all the things that cannot be resolved. All the statistics, I'll show a negative end of a statistic. 35% of these people are struggling. 45% of these people are not going to make it out. And all we have to do is change this statistic. 75% of people absolutely are creative enough to go and make a living all by themselves without a job. What if that was true? I just made that up on the spot, by the way. I'm not saying that's true. I'm saying the difference of how you share a statistic changes what you start self-qualifying yourself for. And the more worthy you feel, and the more qualified you feel to accomplish something, the more likely you are to actually take specific targeted actions to accomplish that. And so these are the types of things that we're going to be discussing on the channel. If you're interested in hearing more, click the subscribe button and make sure that you know when those next links are coming out. then those next videos, because there's so much here, especially in this playlist, to understand what are those core money beliefs that are still running the script that started way before you even remember.